Hi everyone, my name is Deborah Pae. I am professor of cello at Eastern Michigan University's School of Music and Dance and the cellist of the Formosa Quartet. I've been asked to create a series of instructional videos to help you cellists confidently prepare for the upcoming MSBOA high school all-state auditions. There are a couple of components to preparing a solid audition. And through this mini-series, I'll be focusing on how to prepare your scales and excerpts, and also provide some insight on what panel or jury members often listen for when they're listening to an audition. Not only do you want to play with great tone, very centered intonation, steady and consistent rhythm and pulse, but you also want to give your listener the impression that you understand the expression of the music and the style and intentions of the composer. The panel or jury member that's listening to your audition will most likely have the exact same copy of music that was distributed to you. So it's crucial, and I can't stress this enough, it's really crucial that you play in a way that reflects all of the composer's markings and what's on the page. Okay, so let's start off with the very first page of your MSBOA packet. Now I see here that they want each candidate to play a series of scales, and they're giving you each a choice of 2 scale patterns. Now if I was a cellist auditioning for the MSBOA All-State, I would probably choose pattern A, and this is just my personal preference. I would do 4 eighth notes in 1 slur. The reason why I would choose this is because I want to demonstrate to the panel or jury member that 1, I can play a true legato, 2, I can demonstrate really good bow distribution, and 3, that the succession of notes can be played musically. I know it's a scale, but even if it's a scale, you have the opportunity to play quite musically and to show that. And I think you can achieve this by playing with slurs. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first major scale, which is E flat major in 3 octaves. It's really important that right off the bat, you are thinking of the accidentals. What is the key signature? Let me demonstrate for you an E flat major scale in 3 octaves with 4 notes per bow. Okay, so as you noticed, even before I started the scale, I was already starting to feel the pulse, the metronome pulse internally. It's important that you take your time to feel settled physically, but also to kind of feel, okay, is this my beat? Subdivide those eighth notes. Give yourself maybe a bar or even 2 bars to feel that pulse before you begin. The second thing that I'm thinking about is taking a nice deep breath so that when I approach the first note on the C string, that I'm able to really pull the string and get a very rich tone that's resonant. Another thing that I'm really thinking about is my bow speed. If I want to show the panel that I understand how to play legato and I also can distribute my bow evenly among the 4 notes, I'm going to really think about how quickly and how much bow speed do I need to get from the frog to the tip. I also want to do the same thing from the tip to the frog so that I can show consistency. Okay, so let's try that one more time. one thing that I noticed, even in real time, that when I was coming down the third octave, my intonation was not 100%. I believe on the B flat. So when I'm practicing, I'm gonna kind of isolate that part so I can kind of internalize the physical feeling of what a good smooth shift is. Okay, so this time, after isolating that, I was able to play the third octave coming down much more smoothly and with a much more centered intonation. Another thing that I personally listen for is the cleanliness of shifting, ensuring that you don't have any very jerky motions in the arm or within fingers. So there are a couple, everyone's technique is different, but there are a couple of things that I think could help a young cellist smooth out their shifts and ensure that you get a really clean transition between notes. When you shift from one note to the next, so let's take the F to the G. So I'm doing the fingering, I guess, second. When I go from the second finger to the first finger G, I want to ensure that at the very last moment, I release a little bit of the pressure in my second finger. Why? This is so that when I start to move up to the G, I can glide on the inside of my D string. By taking off the pressure, it's like you're allowing yourself to glide up with more ease. Imagine if you tried to walk and you had, what is that called? Rubber cement stuck to the bottom of your foot or both feet, and you tried to pick up your foot. It would stay stuck to the floor. So by, imagine that each time you take a step, you release the pressure so that you can land on the next foot. It's very similar in the bow hand, the left hand. Now, when you are crossing strings, this is not necessarily a shift, but it's a transition. So I'm actually opening my hand a little bit more in advance, and I'm leading the motion to the A string in my left arm, my forearm. So it's almost as if I'm rotating backwards. So, and I do this actually between every string that I go to. So for instance, the second I play that G string, I'm already using that open string as an opportunity to transition and open my hand like a spider. So here again, right? I'm on this B flat, I'm already opening. Okay, so obviously I didn't have the correct number of bows, but you get the idea. There's one additional thing I would like to mention to you about shifting. You want to keep an awareness, let's say kind of 5 or 10% of your brain. Kind of be mindful of what your thumb is doing in the left hand. A lot of the time, as cellists, we're really concerned about what's happening on top of the string, right? We want to make sure we're nailing the target, or we're getting the shift, or, landing solidly. A lot of the time, the success of a shift really depends on whether we're squeezing our thumb. If I try to move, if I'm squeezing with my thumb, it's another element or component that's hindering my ability to move more smoothly. If I just loosen my thumb muscle just a tiny bit, you should think about just letting your thumb graze the very back of the neck. It shouldn't feel stuck. So not only am I releasing on the 4 to the 1, so I can move to the 1, I'm also ensuring that I'm not squeezing or flexing anything in the back. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I promise you, if you just release that thumb muscle a tiny bit, your shifting will be way better and more successful. Tone is really quite an important component as well. Now, if you're a panel or jury member and you can't see the person, say they're behind a screen, you really don't have any visual cue, right? So your ears are completely drawn to the quality of the sound. I'm always looking for warmth, richness, resonance. I don't want to hear someone pressing and crunching and sort of choking the instrument. Allow the hair to catch the left side of the string so that when you are doing a down bow, you're almost pulling the sound out of the instrument. So the entire way through the scale, I'm actively listening for the quality of my sound. I want to make sure that every note is buzzing. Another thing that you want to be very consistent about is your contact point. Where are you putting the bow between the fingerboard and the bridge? If you are consistent from string to string, most likely, and also as you get higher up into thumb position, you adjust the contact point to get a little closer to the bridge so that the quality of sound doesn't fluctuate. It demonstrates that to the panel member that you really understand the functionality of your instrument. I hope all of these components that I've gone over in this video will help give you some tools in your practice, help you prepare more confidently, and ultimately when you walk into the audition room or make your recording, that you feel that you're able to play a scale that's just as pleasing to listen to as a piece of music. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down below in the comment section. If you want to send me an email, I will also leave my email address in the description box. If you're interested in applying to the EMU Cello Studio, please don't hesitate to reach out to me to set up a trial lesson. I'm more than happy to make time. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to get to know each other, for you to ask questions and to learn about our amazing scholarships, and to get a feel for what a future at EMU could look like. I'll look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck.